it working? All right, welcome to the first edition of Return to the Rivers River Trivia. You may have joined us in the past. We have significantly upped our production value, hopefully. My name is Marissa Bates, and I am the COO CFO with Friends of the LA River, and I am so excited to have you here today for trivia. So you should see in the description of the video stream that you are watching a link to a Google form. And that's how we will be marking your answers for today's competition. And it is indeed a proper competition with real prizes. It's very, very exciting. So go ahead and navigate to that link. And what you should see is something that looks like this. If you can see that, then you are doing it exactly right. So go ahead and navigate to that form. And if you are having any trouble, feel free to ask that in the chat. And one of my friendly Full-R friends will get back to you with the answers to your questions. So let's talk about what is at stake here. And to help me announce the prizes, I have invited our operations manager, Zoe Witt, to join me today. Hi, Zoe, how are you?
Hi, Marissa. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to our first trivia night. I'm happy to be the one to get to announce the prizes.
You'll also be keeping score all night, right, Zoe?
Scorekeeping as well.
Great. Well, Zoe, tell them what they could win.
All right, everyone. First place winner will receive a Patagonia backpack with a hydration pack, great for hiking. Second place winner will receive a flowered flat-brimmed hat, also generously provided by Patagonia. Third place winner will receive a general admission ticket to our virtual Noche del Rio Gala being broadcast live on October 23rd. And we're also going to give a general admission ticket to the team with the coolest name. So get creative and good luck.
Zoe, any tips on cool team names?
Oh man, that's it. You put me on the spot with that one, Bates.
River theme.
Anything river themed is probably gonna land you in the cool category.
That's right. Well, without further ado, Zoe, I think we'll see you after round 1 for a score update. Thanks so much. All right, folks, I hope you're ready. Want to take a moment and thank our sponsor. Clean Power Alliance is generously sponsoring River Trivia, which, if you didn't know, is happening this week, next week, and the week following. Of course, we'll find opportunities to host competitions after that point, but this is all a part of our Return to the River series. I hope you've been following along, because the first 2 rounds of questions will rely entirely on the first week's episodes of content. So let me give you a preview. Round 1 will be focused on our Finding Feathered Friends segment that we produced in the Sepulveda Basin. Our policy director, Liliana Griego, and our VP of programs, Shelly Backler, helped coordinate that segment. So most of those first questions are going to be answered in that first segment. So if you watched it, you're ready to go. Second round is going to be focused on the remaining programs that were part of weekend 1. So that's our new Native Narratives programming that we produced in partnership with the Fernandino Tataviam Band of Mission Indians, as well as our EcoCraft Corner. And finally, River Report, hosted with Michael Atkins and in conversation with NRDC lawyer Damon Nagami. Round 3 will be river songs. So it'll test your river song knowledge, which is I'll read you a lyric from a song, and you'll need to tell me what river song that came from and who sang it. 1 point for each. And then our final round will be a river word scramble. So if you've joined us in the past, you're familiar with that. I'll put 5 river phrases up on the screen, and you'll have 5 minutes to unscramble them. So without further ado, let's go ahead and head to round 1. Everyone at the ready? Great. All right. So question number 1. Which is not a kind of heron? A great blue heron. B, the green heron. C, the black-crowned night heron. Or D, the double-crested heron? Once again, question number 1 is which is not a kind of heron? A great blue heron. B, a green heron. C, a black-crowned night heron. Or D, a double-crested heron? Which one is it? All right, we're going to move on to question number 2. What surprising owl spent last winter at Sepulveda Basin based on Fuller's ongoing habitat study? Was it A, a snowy owl, B, a burrowing owl, C, a barn owl, or D, a pygmy owl? I'll ask that question again. Question 2 is, what surprising owl spent last winter at Sepulveda Basin based on Fuller's ongoing habitat study? Was it A, a snowy owl, B, a burrowing owl, C, a barn owl, or D, a pygmy owl? Question 3. What technique does Fuller and its project biologists use to measure bird abundance and diversity? Is it A, the point count technique, B, the call sound technique, C, the drop walk technique, or D, the C check technique? Question 3 is, what technique does Fuller and its project biologist use to measure bird abundance and diversity? A, the point count technique, B, the call sound technique, C, the drop walk technique, or the D, C check technique? On to question 4. Which is a native plant in the LA River? Is it A, horehound, B, mustard, C, tule, or D, arundo? Which is a native plant in the LA River habitat? For question number 4. Is it A, horehound, B, mustard, C, tule, or D, arundo? All right, and last question of the round. What endangered species of birds with juveniles have we detected in the Sepulveda Basin? Is it A, the lesser Bell's vireo, B, the least Bell's vireo, C, the Lee's Bell vireo, or D, the last Bell's vireo? And once again, for question 5, to close out round 1, what endangered species of bird with juveniles have we detected in the Sepulveda Basin? Is it A, the lesser Bell's vireo, B, the least Bell's vireo, C, the Lee Bell's vireo, or D, the last Bell's vireo? All right, folks, that is round 1, those first 5 questions. So we'll go ahead and give you a minute here to answer and turn in your final questions. But go ahead and submit it right away because Zoe is already getting ready to count your answers. So I'll go ahead and count that down for you, and we'll see you in a minute. All right, folks. So you should have your answer sheets turned in. We're going to give Zoe a couple minutes here to go ahead and score them, but please go ahead and submit them now. If you are playing, that would be great. But in the meantime, I thought I would talk a little bit about our Return to the River program, specifically Finding Feathered Friends. So each week we're going to be hosting a bird watching and bird information segment, which we're calling Finding Feathered Friends, in partnership with a number of different organizations who do work on birds and habitat around the LA watershed. So this last week that we are referring to for these questions was, as I mentioned, hosted at the Sepulveda Basin in partnership with our project biologist, Tom Ryan, as well as the California Native Plant Society. And we're incredibly grateful to all of those individuals who participated in the filming. Sneak peek for next week, folks are going to be heading out to Rio de Los Angeles State Park to learn about the bird life that are there in partnership with Debs Park at Audubon at Debs Park, as well as state parks, California state parks, which know a lot about what's going on that parcel. We'll also be speaking specifically about the 100-acre partnership, which you'll learn more about this weekend. And then lastly, the third weekend, we're going to be partnering with Aquarium of the Pacific to learn more about shorebirds and speak specifically about the habitat that is available for birds in the estuaries in Long Beach, as well as on the coast. Very, very exciting content, and so excited for you guys to all be participating in what's coming up. So let me go ahead and turn it over to Score Master Extraordinaire, Zoe Witt. Hi, Zoe.
Hello.
Turnaround, but do you have any updates about who's in the lead at the moment?
All right. So far, we have tied for first place the team Feathered Friends Finder and the team Parker and the Puzzle Pieces. Both are tied at 5 points, getting all 5 questions right in round 1.
Well, that's terrific. Thanks so much, Zoe. Let's go ahead and move into round 2. We may see you after that round, or we might just check in again after round 3. We'll just see how it goes. All right, thanks, Zoe. All right, folks, here we go. It's round 2. So what you'll do is just refresh that form and resubmit that form with your email address, your team name, which round it is. It's round 2, and the 5 answers to the 5 questions. So let's go ahead and get started. Round 2. The first couple questions are about our native narrative segment. Question 1. What is not one of the tribal lineages included in the coalition under the Fernandeño-Tatviam Band of Mission Indians? Is it A, Chumash, B, Tatviam, C, Pepamotum, or D, Tipai? Again, question 1 is, what is not one of the tribal lineages included in the coalition under the Fernandeño-Tatviam Band of Mission Indians? Is it A, Chumash, B, Tatviam, C, Pepamotum, or D, Tipai? Question 2. Why do the Fernandeño-Tatviam Band of Mission Indians include the word Fernandeño in their name? Is it A, because most of the peoples were from the San Fernando Valley, B, because Saint Fernando named them, C, because they were located near the San Fernando Mission, or D, because one of the included tribes originally called themselves Fernandeño? Again, for question 2, why does the Fernandeño-Tatviam Band of Mission Indians use the word Fernandeño in their name? Is it A, because most of the peoples were from the San Fernando Valley, B, because Saint Fernando named them, C, because they were located near the San Fernando Mission, or D, because one of the included tribes originally called themselves the Fernandeño? Question 3. If you were to make an LA River paper lantern in our EcoCraft corner, what ingredient do you not need to make paper mache? Is it A, water, B, flour, C, baking soda, or D, salt? Again, if you were to make an LA River paper lantern in our EcoCraft corner, what ingredient do you not need to make paper mache? A, water, B, flour, C, baking soda, or D, salt? Moving on to question 4. In this week's River Report, Michael sat down with Damon Nagami, and he told us about the 30 by 30 initiative. What is 30 by 30? Is it A, it calls on the nations of the world to conserve 30% of lands and oceans by 2030. B, calls on the nations of the world to reduce emissions by 30% by 2030. C, calls on the nations of the world to move 30% of energy generation to renewable sources by 2030. Or D, calls on the nations of the world to increase endangered habitat by 30% by 2030. This one's a mouthful, so let's do it again. In this week's River Report with Michael sat down with NRDC's Damon Nagami, and he introduced the initiative 30 by 30. What is 30 by 30? Does it call on the nations of the world, A, calls on the nations of the world to conserve 30% of lands and oceans by 2030. B, calls on the nations of the world to reduce emissions by 30% by 2030. C, calls on the nations of the world to move 30% of energy generation to renewable sources by 2030. Or D, call on the nations of the world to increase endangered habitats by 30% by 2030. And finally, question 5. What parcel of land is not currently included in the 100-acre vision being planned because of a planned luxury development? Is it A, Casitas, B, Rio de Los Angeles, C, Taylor Yards, or D, Bowtie? So final question of round 2. Question 5 is, what parcel of land is not currently included in the 100-acre vision because of a planned luxury development? Is it A, Casitas, B, Rio de Los Angeles, C, Taylor Yards, or D, Bowtie? All right, folks, so let's take another minute, submit your final answers, and then we'll come back and talk about what else is going on for the upcoming weeks. So take a minute, submit your answers. See you back in a minute. All right, and we're back. So go ahead and make sure those answers are submitted so our lovely scorekeeper, Zoe Witt, can get them tabulated for us. Let's talk briefly about the other segments that are being included in Return to the River. First is a series that we are incredibly excited and proud of. They are partnerships with local indigenous tribes in the LA watershed. We started this week in the Upper River with the Fernandino Tatotvian Band of Mission Indians. Next week, we're going to be following the Tongva and speaking about the creation of Tule dolls and the importance of Tule to the LA River Native peoples. As well as the third weekend, we're going to be meeting with a Chumash elder to learn more about, again, the importance of Tule and how that was used to create ocean-bound canoes to increase the spread of that native tribe. So again, we're incredibly proud and grateful to our partners at each of the local indigenous groups for partnering with us on those programs. We also have an EcoCraft corner with our educator, Ileana Padilla. She has been great in putting together some of these crafts. That was this week's segment. Next week, Ileana is going to be heading out on a nature walk with our friends at Mujeres de la Tierra, and they will be coordinating a BioBlitz. You'll learn more about that next week. This segment is bilingual, which is exciting, so we hope you'll tune in for that. And lastly, I want to address River Report, which is a weekly segment that our communications manager, Michael Atkins, is producing. This week, we hosted NRDC's Damon Nagami. Next week, we will have Congressman Adam Schiff joining us to speak about federal funding for the LA River. And our third week will be joined by Congressman Jimmy Gomez. So please be sure to turn into that. We're very excited to have such wonderful elected officials to join us on those programs. All right, without further ado, let me turn it over to scorekeeper extraordinaire, Zoe Witt. Hey there, Zoe.
Hello once again.
How are the teams doing?
All right, so we still have our top two teams from last round still going head-to-head. Feathered Friends Finder and Parker and the Puzzle Pieces are now tied at 9 points each. We've now got a team coming up right behind them, Team Bella Vista, with 3 points. And that's where we're at right now.
Thanks, Zoe. Really appreciate it. All right, moving into round 3. This is a different kind of round where I will read you a couple lines from a river song, and you'll let me know, you'll fill in what song you think it is and who you think sang it. So you'll get 1 point for each one of those parts of the answer. So if you only get the name of the song, or if you only get the artist, no worries. This is a particularly difficult round on purpose because I want to really challenge you all. So this is going to be one of the tougher rounds that you'll see in River Trivia on an ongoing basis. One plug is that we are going to be presenting our river playlist as part of our virtual swag bag. So if you do join us for Noche del Rio, that will be an opportunity for you. As long as you have a general admissions ticket or a premium admissions ticket, you will get access to that virtual swag bag and be able to listen to our very cool, very jazzy river playlist. So without further ado, let's go on to round 3. All right, folks. And I wish that I could sing the songs and make them sound a little bit like they sound. Frankly, it's not my cup of tea, so I'm going to do my best. But hopefully you can get some of it from what I'm sharing. All right, so question 1, or I should say song 1. 'Cause it grows stronger like a river flows, and it gets sweeter, baby, and heaven knows, and it gets sweeter, baby, as it grows. I'll say it jazzily one more time. 'Cause it grows stronger like a river flows, and it gets sweeter, baby, and heaven knows, and it gets sweeter, baby, as it grows. I'm going to do it one more time for good measure. 'Cause it grows stronger like a river flows, and it gets sweeter, baby, and heaven knows, and it gets sweeter, baby, as it grows. So what song is that? That has river in the title. And who sang it? Or who produced it? Who's the artist? All right. Question and song 2. To a river so deep, I've been searching for something taken out of my soul. To a river so deep, I've been searching for something taken out of my soul. One more time. To a river so deep, I've been searching for something taken out of my soul. What song title is that with the word river in the title? And who sang it? Song number 3. And I want to grow up from the rhythm of the young, from the rhythm of a younger heart. It leads just like a river runs. And I want to grow up from the rhythm of the young, from the rhythm of a younger heart. It leads just like a river runs. Again, what song is that? River's in the title. And who sang it? Song number 4. I wish I had a river so long, I would teach my feet to fly. I wish I had a river I could skate away on. Again, I wish I had a river so long, I wish I would teach my feet to fly. I wish I had a river I could skate away on. Song 4 is, I wish I had a river so long, I would teach my feet to fly. I wish I had a river I could skate away on. All right, final song of the round. And the tears that I cried for that woman are gonna flood you, big river. And I'm gonna sit right here until I die. Song 5 is, and the tears that I cried to that woman are gonna flood you, big river. And I'm gonna sit right here until I die. One last time. And the tears that I cried for that woman are gonna flood you, big river. And I'm gonna sit right here until I die. What song is that with river in the title? And who sang it? All right, I know that was a tough one, but I really believe in you. So let me give you a minute as you answer your final questions and get them submitted, and we'll come back here and chat. All right, folks, welcome back. I know this one's going to take Zoe a little bit of time to grade, so we'll go ahead and give her that opportunity. I wanted to take a moment to talk a little bit more about Noche del Rio, our upcoming virtual gala. As you know, this year has thrown us for a bit of a loop, so we're doing things a little bit differently. And for Noche del Rio, which will be happening on Friday, October 23rd, we are inviting folks to join us virtually. We have 2 tiers of tickets. General admission tickets are just $10, and that money goes entirely to support Friends of the LA River and the continuation of our work, as well as enable us to do more videos like this. I sure like running trivia, and I hope I get to do more of it. I know that we also are really excited about all of the different segments that I just discussed from Return to the River. So we hope that we can get your support to continue to engage Angelenos in their river and an opportunity to build climate resiliency within our city. So again, that's happening on October 23rd. The program will feature a number of local artists talking about the influence that the river has had on the production of their art and how their art intersects with thought change, with thought leadership, and with advocacy, as well as celebrating our late founder, Lewis McAdams, who really sat at the intersection between art and the river as a poet he was. Lastly, we're very excited to be honoring Metabolic Studios and Lauren Bond for their creative work on the river. So our president and CEO, Marissa Christensen, will be in conversation with her as part of the presentation. So hope you can join us October 23rd at our Noche del Rio Gala. Like I said, tickets start at just $10, and it goes a long way to supporting us and supporting the work that we do. So thank you in advance. All right, hopefully I've given Zoe enough time, and let's go ahead and check in. Hi, Zoe.
Hey, Marissa. That sure was a challenging round. Seeing the submissions on the back end, we got some funny submissions, but I am pleased to announce that Parker and the Puzzle Pieces has now surpassed Feathered Friends Finder and has taken the lead at 13 points, followed by our Feathered Friends Finder at 11 points. Team Bella Vista is still in 3rd place with 3 points.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Zoe. I think this next round is really going to shake things up. All right. For our final round, round 4, we're going to be going into a word scramble. Now, to spice things up, for each word scramble that you unscramble correctly, you will earn your team 3 points. So this is really an opportunity to change the tide. I'm going to go ahead and momentarily put up 5 word phrases that are river related and give you an opportunity to unscramble them. You'll have 5 minutes to unscramble all 5. So definitely, if you have it handy, a pen and paper would be really helpful in trying to figure out what these river phrases are. And remember, we are friends of the LA River, so it's all going to have to do with the LA River. So without further ado, let me go ahead and post our 5 word scrambles. Like I said, you'll have 5 minutes, and I will be sure to give you a 1-minute warning before it's time to wrap up. Let's get going. All right, folks, here is your word scramble. Take 5 minutes, and I will see you back here very soon. All right, folks, that's just about the halfway mark. You've got 2 minutes and 30 seconds to go. Keep unscrambling. All right, folks, it's the final countdown. You've got 1 minute left. Get your answers unscrambled. Get them in. It's time to start submitting. All right, folks, it's time for me to pull these down and for you to finish your answers. All right, so go ahead, submit your final responses. Hopefully you got a couple of them. Remember, they're 3 points each. They really could turn the tide of this race. We really don't know what's going to happen. It's crazy out here. But can't wait to hear from Zoe. We're going to give her a minute. This is a harder one, a little bit longer to go ahead and score. She'll give me the thumbs up when we're ready to go on. But in the meantime, I wanted to say a very special thank you to our sponsor, Clean Power Alliance, for this segment. We couldn't do or bring you any of this amazing content without the support of our generous sponsors. And with that, I would also like to thank all of the sponsors who are sponsoring and really supporting the work that FOLAR is doing through Return to the River as well as year-round. We're very grateful to our premier sponsor, Amazon, as well as M2O, and our presenting sponsors, Postmates and Toyota Financial Services. Thank you to these wonderful folks for their support and the belief in what we're doing, and their faith in our ability to create a equitable and ecologically sustainable LA River for people and habitat. We couldn't do it without any of their support. And of course, we couldn't do it without you either. So if you have the means, if you're able to make a donation, please consider donating to FOLAR and help us continue our work, help us continue engaging Angelinos of all ages, support our education programs, support our advocacy work, support all of the exciting content that we're so thrilled to be bringing to you. So you can go ahead and make that donation at folar.org/donate now. That's folar.org/donate now. So please, if you have the ability, even $5, even less would be so appreciated by us. We're incredibly grateful for the grassroots support of the folks that believe in the work that we're doing. All right, Zoe, hopefully I gave you enough time and we can head over to do the final score tally. Hi, Zoe.
Hello, once again.
And so, Zoe, do we have a winner?
We have a winner. I gotta say, Parker and the puzzle pieces really did really well that round. They got 3 of the 5 correct, so that brings them up to 22 points. That puts Feathered Friends Finder in second place at 11 points, and Team Bella Vista in third place at 3 points.
Well, thanks so much, Zoe, for keeping that score tabulated for us. You will probably be hearing from Zoe to make sure that you get your prize. So thank you for submitting your email addresses with your answer sheets, and she will be reaching out. Now, maybe more importantly, Zoe, do we have a favorite team name that we can award a Del Rio ticket to?
I gotta say, Feathered Friends Finder keeps, I keep messing that one up. So I think that might be my vote.
Great. Well, it's only your vote that counts. So finding Feathered Friends Finder, was that what it was?
Yeah.
That's our winner. Well, thank you all. We're so grateful. Like we said, thank you to our sponsor, Clean Power Alliance. Thank you for your participation. We will be here next week, of course, trying to decide what's going on with this debate and if it's happening or not, and if that will change the time that we are going to be broadcasting trivia. But we will make sure to keep you in the loop, and we hope that you'll join us next week where we will have other fantastic prizes, and I will once again be joined by our fabulous operations manager, Zoe Witt. Again, I'm Marissa Bates, COO, CFO at Friends of the LA River. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your support, and we can't wait to see you on the river. Bye-bye.